Hi, this is Gurasi Singh, and you're listening to my Thick Accent podcast. So, Muzhda, before we get into the final segment, I have introduced this new segment in the second season of the podcast, and I call it Know Your Host, where I give my guests an opportunity to ask me any questions you might have.
Yeah, I would like to ask you a question. So, what was the your favorite what was your first day in Canada? Like what was your experience in Canada? Like when you first came here?
Wow, I was waiting for somebody to ask me this question because I have asked this question to all my guests, and I do have an answer to that. I have a really long answer, but I'll try to shorten it up and I'll share that with you. The short answer is it was terrifying. It was hard. Okay, I'll tell you briefly. So when I landed, a taxi was supposed to come and pick me up at 8 p.m., 8:30 p.m. And I was supposed to go to like a distant random person I found on Facebook Messenger who was very sweet and who said, "Sure, you can come and stay with us for the initial days, and by the time you find your house." I was like, "Sure." So I packed my bags. I landed here at 8:30 p.m. And when I checked, like my taxi is not coming, which was supposed to come, which was a taxi given to us by school or something was there, which I don't exactly remember now. And that taxi was supposed to come and pick me up. That didn't show up. And I was like, man, how am I supposed to go anywhere? And even my internet is not connecting for some reason. Even if I want to order an Uber, it has to be like through credit card and everything. So how am I supposed to do all that? You have like so many other things going on in your mind when you just land. So I called that person whom I was supposed to go to the house to. I called him on Messenger, and somehow my internet connected, and I called him and he said, "Oh, I don't live that far, so I'll come and pick you up." So he was so sweet that his name was Beer Inder. I mean, shout out to you, amazing person, amazing human being. I'm still in touch with her. It's been 6 years. And he came and he picked me up along with his friend, and then he took me to his house. And I remember their house was on the fourth floor of the building. So you can imagine a lot of stairs. And I had uh, three big 23 kgs bags. They were not 23
Oh,
kgs, Mushta, I can assure you. I was trying to pack my life in those three suitcases. They were not 23 kgs. They were at least like 25 each or maybe more than that. And one of them was even close to 30. I remember I paid extra for that. When I landed here, the actual guy whom I connected with, he went to his work, and his friend was there to welcome me to the house. His friend helped me to carry those three big bags to fourth floor, and he was so nice, and he helped
oh,
me do all those, and that was tiring. And I remember
oh,
moving my bags upstairs, and I was like, okay, this is Canada. Welcome to Canada. This is where your struggle starts, Gerasis. And yes, that was my first night, so to say. And what happened the next day, I think I'll keep it for another episode for sure. But yes, that was my first night. And I remember when I reached the place, when I moved everything upstairs, and that guy was very nice. He ordered a pizza for me. So that was also the first time I got to know that you can order a pizza which can be half vegetarian and half non-vegetarian. I didn't know that you could do that. And he didn't eat non-vegetarian, and he ordered a pizza which was like half veg, half non-vegetarian. I was like, oh, you can do that. I didn't know about that. So he ordered a pizza that for me, and along with that, he served me juice. And his name was Harpreet, I remember. So yeah, amazing people I came across on my very first night, and I can't be more grateful for that. And yes, so that was my first day, first night in Montreal, Canada. Yeah.
oh, that's good. So you went to first to Montreal and then came
So
here.
I'm still in Montreal. Landed here in Montreal, and when I met you in Toronto, I was just visiting Toronto for like 10 days or so. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. Like Montreal is such a beautiful city.
Oh
I
yeah.
just went there once, but it's so beautiful.
Indeed, it is. It is very beautiful. Lots of things to do. Very exciting place for sure. Yeah. Okay, but thank you for that question. Loved it. So now we're in the final segment of the podcast. I call it Beneath the Accent because we are knowing each other beneath the accent. I'm going to ask a couple of questions. You can answer them in one word or a sentence or however you feel like. The idea is just to know more about Muzhda. So, ready?
Yeah, of course.
So, what advice would you give to Mujta, who is in the initial months of landing in Canada?
Don't go outside that much because I got sick because of the snow. Yeah.
Okay, okay. Describe a moment when you experienced like a significant cultural shock.
In our school, I was in first day of school. My sister and I was so prepared and serious. Like I took my notebook,
Mhm.
my pen, and I was staring my teacher. And then the teacher said, "Okay, do your work." And then one of my classmates is playing video game, the other one is watching movie,
Okay.
and the other one is, oh my gosh, talking very badly. Like I was like, oh my gosh, what? The teacher is here. Why you're talking like that? But then I realized that it's just normal. Then even one student was
Oh,
sleeping, and
wow.
then I said, oh, this is the class.
Wow, what kind of classroom was that? That's crazy.
Yeah, it was physics class.
Okay, okay. What's that one dish from your home country that always brings you comfort and nostalgia?
It is mantu. Oh, I love mantu. I even love the name of it. It's like mantu. When you break it down, it's mean me and you.
Oh,
But
okay.
then it is a dish. So it is like, oh my gosh, such a delicious dish. We cook it like not often, but like sometimes we cook it, and I love it.
What is it? Tell me more about that.
Yeah, it is kind of like it has meat, onion, some spices, and it has the shape of dumpling,
Hmm.
like the Chinese
Okay.
dumpling, but it's like quite different. It's like not similar. It's quite different. When we cook it like all together, and especially when my mom cook it, it is the most delicious one. I just love it.
Awesome. Sounds great. Is it that available in Canada? Do you think I can buy and try?
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. Like whenever you saw a Afghani
Yeah.
restaurant, like just ask them like mantu or mantu. Yeah, mantu. They will probably have it for sure.
Okay. Perfect. Are there any funny story related to misunderstanding around the accent or English that you have?
Around English, I think, yeah. So most of the time, like I mix up the words. Like I mix up a lot of like the words when it comes to the school.
Hmm.
Like when I talk, I keep like different words. And then there was like very funny experience with
Hmm.
me is that my best friend, so she is Afghan, so we always talk Persian together. Like we always talk like Farsi.
Hmm.
Then sometimes I'm in a classroom and then my Canadian classmate or my Indian or Pakistani classmates are with me and I just talking with them and then they say like, what? What are you doing? And then I realize that I'm speaking Farsi with them. And they say like, what are you speaking? Sometimes even with the teacher, like I'm talking with the teacher and then teacher is like, Martha, are you okay? And then I realized that I just spoke Farsi with the
Okay.
teacher.
Okay.
So because like I'm so much exposed with my best friends, so we talk in Farsi a lot. I mess up like the
Hmm.
whole language.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Okay.
it's a lot of forgetting words in this like moment.
No, I can relate to that. I remember initially in my initial year, my translator would just completely stop. My brain would stop. I wanted to say something, and I would end up speaking in Punjabi, and they were like, What do you mean by that?" And I'm like, "Okay, give me a moment. I'll get back to you." I don't know exactly.
Same here.
Yeah. Okay. So, what's your favorite cultural festival or celebration in Canada?
In Canada. Oh, in Canada, I think I never been to any like big culture program till now.
Mhm.
But there are some like in Mississauga, we have Celebration
Mhm.
Center. Sometimes there's like a lot of like culture programs. They have like food. There was one time I went, there was like an international food festival where different countries was bringing their own food. And I'm a big fan of food, so that was like my favorite. And I love the fact that how diverse Canada is.
Yeah.
So when I was there, I could find food from all over the world. So I literally tried food from all the way India to China.
Hmm.
Perfect experience.
Okay. Share a quick tip for fellow immigrants who are trying to adjust to a new country.
Yeah, I think sometimes we tend to think, okay, I'm just going to learn everything by myself. I think this is kind of illusion. We should
Hmm.
not be like,
Yeah.
I think asking questions, trying to talk with friends, just simply ask the question, what are your advice for a new immigrant? What are
Hmm.
your advice for a new refugee? I think asking these questions will help you so much. The fact that sometimes, even myself, I find myself not asking and then spending 2 weeks trying to find a way for something. But
Hmm.
if I ask someone, it would just solve in 1 hour. So why not ask? So I think my best tip would be like always ask questions and don't be afraid to ask questions.
Hmm. Love that. Yeah, absolutely. Tell us about your first friend that you made in Canada, and where did you meet them?
Yeah, my first friend. Okay. I think the first friend I met here was also Afghan. No, 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 Afghan. No, yeah, actually, yeah. I have a very good story. So
Sure.
the first friend I met was an Afghan refugee in Thunder Bay. She was also from Badakhshan, and we kind of got very close. What happened was my family. We are a big family. Like we have a big family members. Like we are five, like 7 people.
Hmm.
And then our room, we had like two rooms, but we used to gather all in one room. We used to come together, and then there was a lot of noise. My little sister and brother, like there was so much noise and everything. So what happens is I met this friend, and she said, "You know what? I am all by myself. I'm alone. Why you do not join me in my room?"
Okay.
And then I said, "Amazing idea." And then I spent that 3 months in Thunder Bay with her. I used to sleep in her room, and she was an amazing chef. She used to cook so delicious food, and then I was having the best time. I was having the best food. We used to watch movies together. We used to go
Oh wow.
explore the city like so. I think the first my first friend was, her name was Mushtari, that I met her in Thunder Bay, and ever since that we are even friends. I was part of the MUN in
Hmm.
Toronto. I the cost of the hotel was $200,
Hmm.
but because I knew my friend, I went to her room.
Hmm.
She has her roommates, but just because of that friend, I went to her room, and she has been super helpful, like a sister for me.
Wow, love that. Love the story. What's something that you ate for the first time in Canada?
Yeah, I tried poutine. Oh, that was like, yeah. When I came here, I started to search. Okay, what are the most famous foods in Canada? And then it started like poutine and some other food. So there was two Canadian women in Thunder Bay. They said, okay, let's take you to try poutine. And I was expecting a very like different food, a Canadian
Hmm.
food, but I just found that it's just fries and cheese, which, which I said, okay, okay, you didn't try Afghani food.
Yeah, ours definitely. I would say, our Indian, even Afghan, our brown
Yeah.
food, so to say, is really good. It's full of flavor and good. Yeah.
It's quite different. It's just like fries.
Yeah. Okay. If you had to describe yourself as any creature, animal, or a bird, what would it be and why?
I love this question. My favorite animal is cat, and I love cats, and
Okay.
I think I would definitely be a cat. And I think if there's one theory that we say, okay, in the previous life I was some animal. I think I was a cat. I was a cat, and I will be a
Okay.
cat. I love cats.
Okay. Do you own a cat right now or no?
Oh, I have been insisting my mom that I want a cat, but she says no, no, no. Because I have one little sister, and then my mom said, "You already have one cat, and we don't need any more." But definitely, whenever I have a chance to be with myself, I will get not one cat, but 10 cats.
Okay, okay. These are like classic answers from our parents. We already have a dog. We have you. Why we need a dog?
Yeah,
We already have you. Why we need a cat? So it's like classic answers from our parents.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay. Okay. So, Mushta, if you could have one superpower, what would it be?
Wow, I love this question too. I think superpowers. I love the superpower of being invisible. No, 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 not invisible. I wanted to have one invisible friend, like
Okay.
one creature, maybe like just one invisible friend who would be so like intelligent, so smart, and then that invisible friend would help me in everything.
Hmm.
Because like I wanted to have one, like I used to watch movies and I thought maybe like there are some invisible creatures even in the world, And I was even one time trying to connect with one, which is very scary.
What?
I was so scared. Yeah, like, do you know that they say like there are creatures that we can't see, like ghosts and
Okay.
everything? I was thinking, what if I connect with one and that ghost would help me with my exams? They would take the exam papers and everything. But no, that's a bad idea. But I wish there was like an opportunity like that to have one invisible friend who can do everything and then can help you.
Okay. Don't try that ghost thing again. I would not recommend that.
I know.
Okay. If you had to create this one law that everyone has to follow, what would it be?
I think everyone should own their own businesses, like
Hmm.
just everyone doing what they want to do and
Mm-hmm.
not trying to sneak out on other people's like life in a way that it is not like comfortable,
Mm-hmm.
because even in this world right now we can see that people are just okay with giving opinion, and I
Yeah.
think it is not okay to just give opinion. I think freedom and democracy does not mean that you should be so much okay to get into others people's rules, beliefs, because we're just different. Like, people come from different culture, and if you are expressing your culture in any way, either it is dressing in a different way, either it is speaking in a different way,
Yeah.
I think no one should be allowed to like stop you. So I think that one rule would be respecting everything,
Yeah.
everyone, and just everyone should own their own businesses.
Yeah. Perfect. Love the answer. Okay. So, Mushta, the home is where the heart is, and if you had to choose one thing that makes you feel most home in Canada, what would it be?
I love like poetry. Sometimes, no, Afghani music.
Okay.
Afghani music. Yeah, I think whenever I play Afghani music, they just like bring me back home, and
Hmm.
I don't know, like that's a very feeling. And also, I have I want to show it
Sure.
here. It is in my table. So I have this kind of like carpet,
Okay.
like little
Yeah.
carpet. Yeah, I got this from Afghanistan. So it is like a piece of home. I have it
Hmm.
like in my
Love
table.
that.
So it's kind of always when I see it, it's like giving me that vibe of my country. I love culture, so I
Yeah.
love like carpets. So it's kind of give me home
Amazing.
feeling of home.
Yeah. Okay. So, describe Canada in one word or a sentence.
Peaceful. I think peaceful, yeah. I love the fact that how people are living in harmony. The fact that when I was in a country like Afghanistan, I
Hmm.
thought like, let's say Christians or Muslims would never
Live
live in a
together. Yeah.
classroom together or live in a place together. But when you come here and then like in our school, in one class, like I have a classmate who is Jew. I have a classmate who is like, for example, Hindu. I have
Yeah.
a classmate who is Muslim. Like all people together, like different skin colors, different cultures, and everyone is okay. Like this teaches something that like all the how politics can be scary.
Yeah.
That people are trying to stop us to be together, but when you go in a classroom, you see people don't have any problem. Like people are just people.
Hmm.
So I
Yeah.
think I love the harmony and peace in here.
Absolutely. Can't agree more. So, if you could leave me, Mushtab, in one piece of advice, what would it be?
I think I really love the fact that you started this like podcast, like my thick accent, and I want you to keep doing this. I think it is, as I just mentioned before, like our cultures, our things that are differentiate us from the others. It does not mean that it make us to be like so separate us, but cultures can bring people together. Like if I am from Afghanistan, it's very important that how can I learn to deal with other
Yeah.
cultures, learn from different cultures. And I really love the work that you are doing, so I think just keep doing it, and you are doing amazing job.
Awesome. Thank you. And finally, how would you describe your experience of being on this podcast?
Amazing. Wonderful. I think I was previously in one podcast, but I wasn't maybe like that comfortable in a way, that because it maybe was my first experience, but I've had like the most amazing conversation, and it was like the questions, the way you speak, everything you ask, very amazing. So yeah, thank you so much for that.
Awesome. Thank
It
you.
was a
Thank you for
wonderful.
your kind words, Mushta. And thank you for being on the podcast, or how you taught me initially. You said Tashikor, right? Tashikor, which means
Yeah,
thank you. So thank you.
great memory.
No, I'm not that smart. I have my notes here. But yeah, if you say yes, I did remember that. So Tashikor, and thank you for adding value to my listeners. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that.
Hey listener, thank you for making it to the end. I highly, highly appreciate you listening the podcast. Subscribe to the podcast if you haven't as yet, and please share with your friends or anybody you think would like it. And like I always say, we encourage you to follow your heart, but also us on Instagram. The handle is mythicaccent. You can also leave us a review or write to us at hello@mythicaccent.com. So stay tuned and let's continue knowing each other beneath the accent.